Okay. Which ankle did you turn? Which ankle did you turn?
Oh, my right is my right foot. My right ankle that I turned.
Huh.
Welcome, everyone. Isn't it great to be back at the New Living Expo and be connected and see our community and our amazing teachers? And welcome to what's going to be an amazing panel, highly informative, with some of my favorite, very experienced Ascension teachers. And we're going to share with you what's really happening now in 2022, which we're calling Time of Planetary Ascension. I'm Deborah Giusti, and my passion is the accelerated ascension process that's happening now. It's taking place now within me, it's taking place within you, and with everyone, and with Mama Gaia. So I'm really happy that you're here now. You're in an amazing place where there's going to be a transmission through the mind, through the hearts, and through the souls. And wow, what a world we are in right now. Never before has there been so much chaos, confusion, all of that it looks like on the outside. But I think you're here now because we also know this is a highly activated spiritual time. And I think we also know this is why we came to the planet at this time. This is showtime. This is party time. This is a time where we can really accelerate our ascension. And this is when the whole planet is going through an ascension. It's not only our personal ascension, it's an ascension of a whole cycle of the universe and of Mama Gaia. So we're here right now because this is a highly activated time where we can accomplish a lot in that ascension. So we have a huge opportunity with that. And right now this is a time for purification and cleansing. We can see that with Mama Gaia as she's kind of shaking around with fires and floods and telling us that we need to treat her in a different way. And also humanity is going through its purification. Everything that has been dysfunctional and has been around hidden is now coming up to be healed and revealed. And this is important because in order to go to the next frequency, everything that's in a dysfunctional level needs to be healed, needs to be cleared, needs to be purified. And that's true in our personal lives too, if you haven't noticed. Anything that's dysfunctional, anything that's not of the higher vibration, if you've made a commitment to your awakening to the path, it's going to come up right in your face. So as above, so below, all these levels are going through this massive transformation now. And so we call this going through the collective birth canal, because we were all in a collective birth towards the new earth. And I know we've all heard about that, and we're all on board to create this new reality that's possible now. And yes, there's a lot of chaos and confusion, but that sometimes happens with birth. It's intense, but we know we're focused and we're going together through this birth canal to this new earth. And so along with that, in this new earth, a lot of us are feeling a lot of evolution also coming forward. Have you noticed the synchronicities in your life these days? They're like that. And as you open to, your psychic awareness opens up, all these tools and abilities start to come online. And you start to become aware of all the multidimensional realities. We're being prepared. We're seeing the previews of this new earth that we're going towards. And so it's pretty exciting here. And it's pretty exciting to be at a conference like this where you can say anything to anybody and they understand what you're talking about, which is really wonderful. And I have a dream team here. These are amazing women. They're all my teachers on various levels. I just adore them. And if you notice, they're all women, you know? This is the power of the divine feminine. The leadership and the power is coming forward now. And that's a big part of the ascension, is the rise of the divine feminine, as you've been experiencing that and as that's coming online more and more. And I want to honor Mother's Day. Mother's Day today, and the mother and all the mothers here, the power of the divine feminine mother, and Mama Gaia, who are we here to honor, because we are with her in this planetary ascension that's happening now. So I'd love to start this ascension panel in the way when women gather and we open up sacred space to allow for the most powerful transmission to come. So I'd like to invite everyone to really come present in your heart and really come present in your heart. And allow your energy to ground and feel Mama Gaia. And feel her healing and her nurturing. And bring that up into your energy field. And through your chakras and your whole body, your light body. And open up your upper chakras so that you can receive this transmission and also remember what you already know about ascension, why you came here, and all that's happening right now. And I invite all our guides, I invite the angelic realm, I invite all the ascended masters and the higher galactics to come and be with us at this sacred transmission that we have now. We're so blessed. And I'd now love to introduce you to this amazing panel. And first, I'd like to introduce Maureen St. Germain. She's been doing this a long time. She is one of the primary ascension teachers on the planet. She's been teaching for 25 years. She is an ascension teacher. She has many books out. She has a whole academy and a practice. She's known internationally. She's a best-selling, award-winning author. And she is a contactee with the higher realms. She connects with angels and ascended masters and Hathors and the divine feminine and dragons. And so I'd like her to come now. And what I'd like them to do is to address the planetary ascension. Like, what is going on? It's a little confusing, but we know in our heart that there's a lot happening now. So from your experience, Maureen, what has been going on in the last 2 years, and what is this 2022 accelerated ascension, planetary ascension,
Well, first
that's
of all,
happening now?
Thank you for the lovely introduction. You made it sound really good. Thank you. I see a big bifurcation. Actually, I see 3 Earths as a mystic. I have been shown that there is a crash and burn Earth. I don't need to describe that one. And then there is the do-over Earth, and then there is the ascending Earth. So the ascending Earth is on a big acceleration. The ascending Earth can interact with the do-over Earth. Who's on the do-over Earth? All the people you know and love who have refused to see the advancing of humanity through spirituality. So they're the people that like being in the matrix, love you, you love them, they're good people, but they haven't accepted that they have been in a matrix or hypnotized, however you want to look at it. Those of you who are meditating regularly are rising above the consciousness that is being broadcast at humanity, and I see these energies being broadcast through the airwaves, Wi-Fi, cell phone towers, television stations, and there's 2 messages. Forget, forget, forget. Second message is reject, reject, reject. What are you being told to forget? Whatever seems like it ought to be true. What are you being told to reject? The stuff that scares you. so it keeps you closed down. But once you step into a spiritual practice of any kind, qigong, meditation, and such, you raise your ability to withstand that onslaught and step into your true power. As a member of the ascending earth, your job is to hold hands with the do-over earth, and at some point they may merge before the final ascension. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. And I'd like to invite Elizabeth Seraphine Wilcock to speak next. She is the creator of the Priestess Path Lineage of Light, which is a modern-day mystery school for women, and teaches the ancient sacred technology and brings it to modern life. She's also earned 5 black belts and owned multiple martial arts and Qigong schools, and she's trained thousands of students. So she combines shamanism, martial arts, Taoism, and the lost arts of the priestess. So I'd love to know, Elizabeth, what you see from your perspective on what we're going through right now.
Hello, thank you, Deborah, for putting this together. And I just gave a talk called Ascension in the Sacred Stand. Who was there? I see a couple of you. Thank you. All right, yay, it's family. So we talked about this a lot, that we are on a 75,000-year cycle where everyone is being harvested, is what they say. This is from the Law of One, and I spoke extensively about that. But just like Maureen said, it's funny because one of my first sentences was there's a bifurcation going on. And so that's what's happening. So basically people are making their choices right now, and Earth is called the choice in the Law of One. This is where we come to make a choice. What will you stand for? Who are you? Have you devoted yourself to the light from whence you came? What is your decision? And so all of the things in our lives, the people in our lives, the situations in our lives are asking us to make this choice over and over and over again. Who here has ever consciously dedicated themselves to the light? I naturally did this at age 21. I remember where I was. I was in a really small, crappy apartment in Colorado Springs, could barely afford it, and I was coming of age, right? And so I knew that I needed to make a decision on a soul level as to who I was going to be in this lifetime. And I literally wrote an entire song about it, about devoting myself to the light. And I made a conscious decision by myself. And when we do that, that sets us on a particular timeline. So we are being able to choose timelines right now. So your choices are very powerful. They always have been. And right now, they're even more so because we are in the ascension, we are in the harvest, where our souls are choosing what reality we will be a part of. And, who here doesn't want to do it over? Some people are like, yeah, I'll do it over. It's pretty cool here, Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's your choice. It's a free will universe. It's a free will school. But right now, we are at that point where our choices are very powerful. What you do changes your timeline quite quickly. And it's really important that we get through the mucks and the mires as gracefully and smoothly as possible without attracting to ourselves more karmas, because as Deborah said, anything and everything that has been unresolved, or anything and everything that we create, is a little Rubik's Cube puzzle we have to undo right now. So,
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Laura, so glad to have you here. Many of you know her. She's a global alchemist, researcher, intuitive astrologist. She's an internationally acclaimed speaker. She's the great-granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and she's very kick-ass. She is telling it like it is, all behind the scenes and everything. And we just love her. And Laura, what's your perspective on what's going on now?
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here and inviting me to be on this panel, and everybody for joining us today at this event, this whole weekend. It's so great to be in person again. And yeah, I mean, I'll kind of just kind of put it through the lens of, some of the astrological stuff. I don't always refer to astrology, but it tends to always kind of like sort of be there. And I just absolutely agree with what everybody has shared. I really like, the way that was put. And so as of 2019, we had the Pluto-Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, and the South Node in the sign of Sagittarius, the North Node in the sign of Gemini. So South Node has to do with the past, has to do with things that we're drawing upon because of experience. And of course, this is the growth period for humanity when we look at the nodes as far as transits, and what I shared about the Pluto-Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. How it hits our own chart depends, of course, on our different charts. But to me, it's all about getting into the 0-point unified field, breaking the harmful patterns, and understanding the initiatory energies that can help us to remove the frequency fences and the constant looping, that kind of keeps us manifesting the same thing, but maybe in a different form. And as we see with some of these dark agendas, they kind of change disguises, but it's the same kind of deal of throwing a lot of psyops our way, and things that get like in our heads, in our psychology, that they have really done a lot of study on. Won't get into like all that, but a lot of different projects that have been in the works, and the roots of it in our galactic history that we don't hear about. I mean, it really, really took hold, particularly in the 1930s, and lots of misinformation was put out to put the blame in the wrong places. And Eisenhower signing the treaty with the Greys has been confirmed by 3 really, really powerful sources. He did not sign anything. MJ-12 did it behind his back. So that's just an example of misinformation that one wouldn't know because of the top secret nature of some of this hidden stuff. There was actually an unconditional surrender agreement that took place in 1952, and some things were put in the works on a covert level to be sure that there would be positive military and operations that would ensure that we're not all on our own, but nothing's going to really save us. We have to kind of step up to the plate and become more of a team and meet that vibration and frequency so that we can all kind of like experience these synchronicities and that mutual support in any place that we reside in the multidimensional cosmos, and our participation with the earth energies. So this is an initiatory time starting in 2019 particularly, and what the occult knowledge of the deep state likes to do is kind of disempower the kind of information that could really help us gain self-knowledge and an understanding by maybe saying, oh, astrology is a pseudoscience. They don't really want us to gain the self-knowledge, and maybe it's just sort of like a new age thing, or something not really appreciated for the medical astrology aspects that used to really assist people. So what this particular period has been, with the North Node being in Gemini, which is what the growth period is, it moved recently into South Node, Scorpio, North Node, Taurus, and that's just too much to explain in just the 4 minutes, but we see what's being targeted. The covering of this. Gemini has to do with throat chakra. Spreading mind viruses through our throat chakra, the 5G kind of element to it, and moving into the 5D where we're connected to our truth frequency. We're moving through the initiations, we're finding authenticity, and we're facing the adversities and challenges, and having and allowing it to push us to the edge so we recover our treasures and recover our wisdom, we recover our lost history and who we truly are and what we're made of. It takes adversity sometimes to unlock those treasures, but disempowerment and all these different tactics to continue to create this dependency, problem, reaction, solution is where a lot of humanity is getting stuck right now. And it's not to say it's all a hoax either. And that's the thing with false flags and psychological operations. There's an element of truth, but then there's an infiltration or a weaponized version. So they like to use the lower octaves of the planetary energies through media, through entertainment industries, through indoctrination in the school systems to keep us in the lower level of like the Plutonic energy, particularly in Saturn, which the lower octave represents tyranny, control, and the Pluto is like fear of death, being stuck in the birth canal, like Deborah said, and Jupiter expands everything it touches. So the Capricorn now moving into Aquarian energies and Pisces now, and just where it's all kind of fitting into place, has been this initiatory process. Are we going to do that life review, face the dark night of the soul, take those adversities and become empowered? Are we going to move from the octave of tyranny and false authority that's abusive and go to the higher octave of Saturn, which has to do with self-mastery and becoming a teacher, because we face the trials and tribulations and we're no longer controlled by it? So we change these planetary energies by winning the war on consciousness within, by graduating and initiating to the next levels, and everything on a cosmic earth level, and all the alignments and where we are in this window, especially with the sun moving through the 13th sign of Fiacus, which is ruled by ether, and the Venus transits has turned the pentagram upright again, because the orbit of Venus makes a perfect pentagram, and the corrections of the earth grids have allowed the ether energies to come back in. Ophiuchus is ruled by the ether to purify the earth, air, fire, water, instead of the symbology of the inverted pentagram that creates a lot of contamination, unwellness, disempowerment. And so we're reversing this darker agenda, this darker kind of satanic harvesting agenda to find that empowerment. And not everybody's going to be at the same speed. We're not all going to see it the same way, but there's always going to be that kind of bridging, and I love the way that you put it. And there might be, the crash and burn, but we're infinite and immortal. We can correct and heal from anything. However long it takes is however long it takes. There's always going to be guides. There's always going to be forces we can connect in that are connected to our higher self, trying to bring us messages so that we can find that sovereignty. So everything happening on an astrological level is supporting this incredible growth. The question is, like Elizabeth was saying, are we going to make that choice? Are we going to go through these adversities and turn the weapons into tools for our growth and not be victimized by them, not be unconscious to them, so that we recognize that we're spiritual athletes and warriors, and in facing these obstacle courses, we can gain great strength instead of continuing to give our power away and be weakened by it. So it's up to us. Everything is supporting us. We just have to watch out for the distractions, the psyops, and the games being played, and work on unity consciousness, sacred union relationships, amplifying the divine blueprint within, changing the nature of reality by being the scriptwriter, utilizing that Gemini magician energy now in Taurus, embracing the earth energies, the transformation of the South Node Scorpio, so that we speak truth, we activate each other, we inspire each other, we say healing things instead of the divide and conquer, shame, blame, victim game, and judgments that say, this is right and you're wrong. Let's all respect where each other is at and walk in our own truth and know that diversity and harmony is oneness, and diversity of perspective can be a great conversation we can all share, and put the pieces together and be a part of that greater conversation with mutual love and respect.
Yeah, Laura. Beautiful. And thank you so much, Laura. And now I'm going to introduce a woman that has an incredible, interesting perspective. That's Vivian Chavez. And she's an international public speaker, but she is also an Arcturian hybrid. So she has a special listening and connection to give us a lot of information about how the galactics have a really important role in this ascension here. She launched her company, Infinite Healing from the Stars, and has done thousands of healing sessions all around the world. I see her as an ambassador of the galactics and definitely here to support the ascension right now. Welcome, Vivian.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me. It means a lot that I'm sitting with such an amazing panel of ladies. And most of all of you for making this possible. Remember that you're always part of the equation. So what is ascension? What's going on your beautiful planet? So yes, indeed, I do bring a very deep intergalactic interstellar perspective, working as I am an Arcturian primarily, mixed with humans, so I can be here on the planet. I'm primarily star being, but also blended with beautiful humanity within me. So we have been monitoring the timeline for a very long time, and we have seen that the potential of the organic timeline of ascension has come into the highest level, and we can tell vibrationally and also on the frequency level that this is very much what the vast majority of the global consciousness of your planet has chosen to be. So that's the good news. You said yes to ascension. Yay, absolutely. Yeah, all together. So it's very much for us looking at the transcendence of our old history, removing the false matrix that you have been plunged in for generation and generations. Even the template of your DNA, if you look at the codons, is shifting in a multidimensional aspect. And what is the good news is we see more and more a transformational process into the removal of some encoding that has been there for a long time, even at the time of the Anunnaki. So you are shifting in your own matrix, your dimensional earth matrix. We see also the body template shifting. All of your grids, planetary, cosmic, solar, and also galactic grids within your body are shifting to bring in the new cosmic human design. You're finally taking your place, your rightful place as equal within the network of the intergalactic group, our star brothers and sisters. And we also rejoice to see so many masters, starseed, hybrids, and also angelic beings who have returned to the planet in a beautiful human form to anchor more and more frequencies of light and unique vibrational energy. So what we always says is first reversal of thought system. What does it mean? You have the right to change your mind. Yes, absolutely. Question, ask different questions. Allow yourself to understand and integrate different soul aspects that are here to support your sacred life mission. People oftentimes ask me, but Vivian, how do I know what's my purpose? We always says, number one is your return to Creator. And to do that, you need to understand who you are and the profoundness and the perfection of your divine being. Recognize yourself as a divine essence of light. Your human journey is simply allowing you to be here at these historical timelines. And remember that many, many, many souls, all of us have prepared for this for a very long time. From our perspective, we see your planet ascending and being very much in alignment with the timeline. 2/3 of the population as a soul group has chosen that timeline. 1/3 may continue to evolve in a more third-dimensional plane of existence. It is okay. Remember, everything is evolution. It's only a point of perspective. So every day, choose your light. Ask, this is what I do when I wake up in the morning. I open my third eyes, open my heart. I align myself, take a deep breath, and I ask, how can I be of service today? Show me. And that's how I start my day. By the age of 5, and I'm being generous by saying 5, if not before that, by the age of 5, I already knew that I was a witness in a paradigm of a matrix reality that has been put there for a long time, and I knew at that point that what I was observing, feeling, experiencing was just a layer of a reality. So I'll already be understanding that we are coexisting and have been coexisting in a multi-layer of realities. Now what we're doing is that we're coming back in a more unified field. And it's our return to Creator. We are reascending. That's what we're doing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vivian. And now, I'm so happy to introduce Kimberly Meredith. A lot of you probably know her. She has an amazing story. She actually is a world-renowned medical medium, healer. After 2 near-death experiences, she experienced encounter with the divine, and she has received a miraculous healing gift where she can scan the body and see healings and help promote miraculous healings. She leads workshops here, and she lives in 5th-dimensional reality a lot of the time, is how she does her work. She's amazing. So Kimberly, what can you tell us about what's happening here now for us?
Thank you. I just recently wrote a book called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, Discovering Your Soul's Path to Healing, and I'm a trance channeler. And why I did that is because I see the world from a point of view that the third dimension, which is what we're living in right now, was talking about, is not going to be here for too much longer. I do feel that we are depopulating, and I don't know if you guys feel that. And a lot of that is because of a lot of ego and greed and fear and worry. And what my guides are telling me is that there isn't any room anymore for the 3D world. And I feel that's good news, but for some maybe not, because we are depopulating the third dimensional energy. We're multidimensional beings, and we have a choice to live in different dimensions. There's many dimensions, and I'm sure you guys know that because you're educated with that beyond 5D. So we all have a choice when we come in the world to raise our consciousness. And as Laura was speaking about politics, and everybody on this panel is giving lots of beautiful information, we have our own choice right now when we walk out of the room to say, wow, we're getting all this information, but we have to make our own choice today how we want to raise our consciousness and what dimension we want to live in. But what my guides are showing you, not Kimberly, is that we are not going to have a third dimension anymore. It's going to be gone. It's like ego or I go. It's over, okay? Gone. The guides are going, yes, 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 yes. We are so excited about the new world. The new world is love and light and freedom and joy and expecting miracles. And miracles are going to be the norm. That we can learn how to rub our hands together and put them over our negative energies and heal ourselves. This is the new world, the age of the Aquarius. This is the ascension. This is the energy that is happening. So are there going to be grocery stores and malls that are going to be more organic? I don't know if you've read about me. Eyes go yes, this eye says no. These eyes, I have codes and blinkings that I do. They're saying yes, 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 yes. Is there going to be plastic, Kimberly, in 4 years from now? They're saying no. Why? Why? Why are we not going to have plastic? Does anybody know? We can't have it anymore. We can't have fossil fuel. What's going on in the ocean? Is the ocean fifth dimension and beyond? No. The ocean is contaminated. It's third dimensional. It's fossil fuel. So if we're raising our consciousness, it has to be everywhere. It has to be a revolutionary way. It can't just be meditating. It has to be everything. Everything has to shift together. So what is happening before your eyes is that not only ascending masters are coming in, the Holy Spirit, the guides, ascending masters, the civilizations, everything actually is happening for you, and without you even realizing, everything is moving forward. You just have to jump in and say, with both feet, I am in the fifth dimension and beyond, and going for it. But it has to be everything. Does that make sense? Everything. Your home, spirituality, what you eat, and committing all the way. Thank you.
Yes, Kimberly. Yes. Wonderful. Aren't they amazing? I just love them. So we want to go a little deeper now to what we really mean and what is really about this planetary ascension. And I want to go a little bit deeper in the understanding of the fifth dimension, because I know you too, Maureen, has written books on fifth dimension and you know about it. So how do we get there? How do we sustain it?
Well, I've written 2 books. The most recent one just came out a month or so ago called Mastering Your 5D Self. My first book was Waking Up in 5D, on the 5D subject. I would like to echo Kimberly's comment about its ending. Sana Kumara, the Ascended Master, channeled through me a number of years ago, actually 2018. The game is over, referring to the 3D game. The game will end when there are no more players. Will you be the first to leave or the last? Now that's heavy duty, because what that means is you and I may not keep judging ourselves, we may not keep judging each other. Now, we see big-time judgment in people who are making decisions that we don't agree with, and they judge us for not doing what they're doing. But what about the little judgments we put out? You know, I don't like her hair, or that's an odd costume, or why did she say that to me, or why is this going on? So the number one way to step out of 3D and move into 5D is to give up why. Because the question why causes you to follow the thread to the problem that you now seem to know the answer, so you can solve it. Let it all go. If we're leaving the baseball game, we don't need to know anything because the game is over. What we need to do is to start asking the what question. What is going on? And every time something happens that you don't like, instead of saying to yourself, why, blah, 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 say, what is going on? And here's what will happen. Your guides, your angels, your higher self will move in and tell you what's really going on. And the amazing thing is, when you're in 3D, you know you're in 3D because you're full of either absolute happiness about the latest good news or absolute sadness about the latest bad news. But when you're in 5D, you're more of an observer, and you love everybody and everything. And the best way to know you're in 5D, everything is funny. Everything is funny. You know, the car gets a flat tire. Ah, that's so funny. We're going to get to sit around for 10, 20 minutes. I needed a break. I'm tired of driving. It doesn't matter. No matter what happens, everything is funny. And that's how you know you're in 5D. How do you get there? You announce at night when you go to bed, I am waking up in 5D. When you get up in the morning, you ask this one question. I'm asking for a day of heaven on earth for me and everyone I am in contact with and everyone I am in contract with. When you do that, you change the vibe. Your toroidal field grows to such an extent that even if the banker who waited on a customer in front of you had a difficult interaction, you come along and voila, the energy has shifted and they feel good just being next to you. Remember this. I am asking for a day of heaven on earth for me and everyone I come in contact with and everyone I am in contract with. Heaven on earth and 5D are the same.
Thank you, Maureen. Beautiful. And Elizabeth, your mission is to really empower women back to their incredible priestess abilities. And I know the Divine Feminine is is so important, so I'd love to hear your perspective of the Divine Feminine and the role of Ascension in the Divine Feminine.
Thank you, Deborah. So yes, ever since 2000 and, what was it, 2011, I had a visitation from the goddess, and she brought me into her fold, and she asked me directly to help to anchor in the sacred feminine on earth. And the reason that she gave me a telepathic download of the situation, and she said that all of life on earth is thirsting, starving for the lack of the sacred energies of the feminine. And I always preface this with not the bitchy, not the, whatever aspects, but there's these sacred aspects of the feminine that were systematically eradicated and suppressed about 2,000 years ago. But all life on earth, the plants, the animals, the elements are literally nourished, energetically nourished by this feminine energy. And the Taoists, because I've been, involved with the martial arts for many, many decades now, and I've been trained by masters and grandmasters in these lineages. in the Taoist lineage, it still preserves some of the most beautiful information about feminine energy and the dance between the feminine and the masculine. And so through studying that as well, I have been exposed to all of these like really esoteric lineage teachings about the feminine. So after the goddess came to me and asked that of me, I'm like, oh, how is that going to work out? And then it all just kind of formed when I was guided to put my work online. And I had been, doing like, my stuff, in person with people for many years. But then I put my work online and it formed into the priestess path. And so for like the last 7 years, I have been initiating women on that. And I feel the shamanic stuff coming in a little more in order to go deeper into the healing tools and the miracle tools. That's what's being called in me right now because I had a miraculous healing when I first started working with shamanism back when I was about 20 because I was severely bulimic and I couldn't get over it. And I'd been hospitalized for it. And I had it for about 5 years, and I was destroying my life. And I had been introduced to shamanism, and I had started studying and practicing it. And one night, as I was doing a ritual, I called for my power back, because through my childhood traumas, my power had been taken from the feminine, by the feminine. And so I have a lot of feminine wounding as well, so it's ironic that way. But my soul was literally brought back into my body. So what the goddess told me was that we are severely out of balance on planet Earth because of what we've done to the feminine as a whole. And again, systematically, the masculine did make a point to suppress the feminine and eradicate the wise women, the shamanesses, the seers, the oracles. I'm running a spiritual entrepreneur mastermind group right now, and one of the women in it has a very strong connection to the Oracle of Delphi. And what I didn't know, she shared this story with me, and it was really horrific, that when the Romans overtook, the temples, finally overtook them, they killed the Oracle of Delphi, and they put her head on a stick and put it out there as a warning for all women who dared to be priestesses. So it's really kind of part of my rebellious nature, honestly, to help to restore the station of priestess, to return the remembrance of it, and that there is a place for women. There has been a place for women of wisdom, women of power, women of medicine in society in an honored way. And so I created my temple, the temple, in order to bring that. And it's really, I think it's kind of coming into society more. We're seeing more women who are being brought into, leadership positions in businesses and things. And so there's the wise aspect of the feminine, because the feminine can get pretty squirrely too, right? So there were these very wise aspects of us. And with the essence is the key, with the feminine essence. Because how many of you have noticed a lot of masculinization in the feminine? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I saw myself on video one of the first times when I was about 20 years old. I saw myself on video because we were at my brother's graduation and they were filming it. And there I was in a dress and some, heels, probably because I was a tomboy, little heels. But when I watched that video, I was like appalled at how masculine I walked. And I was just like a football player or something. And that's when I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, look what I've done with my femininity. I've completely overlaid the masculine energy over it in an effort to try to protect it and to hide it away, because I didn't like, men, trying to come onto me, and I didn't know what else to do but just to hide it. So it's a recovery project. But if we don't honor this earth, and if we don't honor the mother, if we don't honor this earth, which is what we're doing, we're destroying her elements. We're raping her, strip mining her. And so it really comes into like honoring ourselves, where we came from. We all came from mothers, from women. And so of course it is embedded into ascension. It's embedded into ascension, but it's just the restoration of the feminine energies, to its rightful place of, it is sacred. just as the masculine is sacred, and the way that we approach like feminine roles in society and bring back the sacred role. There's a sacred role for women, and it was called priestess. So
Powerful. Thank you, Elizabeth. And Laura, I'd like to hear more about the powers that were. Because I keep hearing that things are shifting, and that's all a part of what's happening.
Yeah, definitely the powers that were, they wouldn't have any power unless it was stolen power, and unless they were able to hide in secrecy the way that they take our energy and power. And to me, like the 5D energy is moving beyond communicating from our fifth chakra, from our lower chakras, and what those lower chakras represent. When we think about 3D, it's really like 1, 2, and 3 chakras. The fourth being the heart, but sometimes the heart is answering to what's going on in the lower chakras and is maybe giving too much, not able to receive, maybe is struggling with self-love, maybe just being givers but doesn't know how to receive. I mean, just like all the different dynamics that create like sort of an imbalanced heart because it's answering to maybe negative ego patterns, maybe feeling in survival, maybe unsupported, maybe the power struggles that we feel, and the way the indoctrination in our school systems is set up to more compete than and there's nothing wrong with that because it can, test us and pull out some great skills, but we're moving from the heart chakra answering to the lower chakras, and the fifth chakra, which has to do with communication, expressing maybe those unconscious wounds and traumas, maybe expressing some of these mind viruses, maybe expressing survival and fear, to the point where we spread that around, and we're very much locked in these patterns and we're looping. So to me, 5D is like the bridge that begins to work with the fifth element, which is ether, which purifies this area so that when we express ourselves, we're actually bridging to the higher dimensions. We're speaking from wisdom. We're speaking from truth. We're speaking from experience more transparently, and not just kind of acting out or answering to this lower area that just really cuts us off and puts us in this sort of duality. I mean, we're rebuilding the DNA architecture of the tree of life and that divine blueprint. So when we move, into the 5D and we answer to the higher awareness of ourselves and we speak it, it starts to fill our survival chakra, and we're not in survival, we're manifesting magic and synchronicities. It fills our second chakra with purifying energies so that our waters aren't contaminated. We're not using our sexual energy in ways that just keep us in weird energetic cords and unwellness, where our reproductive organs, regardless of which gender, is very subject to a lot of very tragic scenarios that just make it really, really hard to recover and heal, and all the stigmas that come with that. And then when we move into our third chakra, that solar plexus and sense of I am and self-identity is answering to our soul journey, our spiritual path, and our identity as being divine beings, so that we generate that and express it. And the higher integrates with the lower to the point where physical reality has no choice but to answer to us and that commitment. So 5D to me is speaking words that are inspiring, that are activating, because we can harm and wound and injure with our words, or we can heal, inspire, activate, and remind each other of who we truly are. Ultimately, it's up to the person to welcome that healing and be able to take the reins in a sovereign way. And I feel like the 5D is a bridge to then go into these higher chakras to activate dormant DNA and to recognize it's alchemical marriage, it's sacred union, it's hierogamic union, and we're divorcing ourselves from the imposters of the lower sort of invasion that has kept us sort of in 3D, and we're welcoming true love. We are divorcing ourselves from the imposters. We're bringing in the Christ Sophia energies and really anchoring it. And when that happens, we're able to divorce ourselves from the old paradigm, the imposters, the toxic relationships, the jobs that compromise us, and we have more courage and willingness to stand for truth and create the magic and synchronicities that support it. Even in those uncomfortable transformations or transitions, we need to be able to embrace that and know that we're working on a different level now. The physics are different. We're able to turn lead into gold. We can de-weaponize the weapons. Our words can blast out these programs because we're no longer hostage to it, and those patternings that have been passed down and the things that have been thrown at us in school. When we get into those higher chakras, we download it into our heart, turns into a blue lotus, it changes the vibration, and then the words we speak are really reflective of that, and that magician energy is manifesting a beautiful future instead of locking us in this dependency bond with all these scenarios that are putting humanity on a very troubling trajectory. But it's that adversity that is reminding us, I don't want this relationship anymore. I want to divorce it. I want true love. I want to love myself. I want to honor the rest of who I truly am and drop these belief systems and false teachings that say it's all junk or it's rewritten history. We have to be bold enough to reclaim it, but it's like it's connecting us to the fullness of all that we are. It's not adopting another belief system. It's us learning to have spiritual maturity so that we can hold space for this powerful growth period. And to me, we connect with the organic ascension signals instead of the AI signals that are putting us in a detrimental position, that if we keep buying into the propaganda, the narratives, and the mind control, any of that, the ramifications are getting greater. But it's pushing us to a breakthrough, because the harder it gets, the more likely we're going to be like, wait, I got to snap out of it, versus, oh, I'm just going to keep consenting and keep allowing myself to get sicker or more disempowered. I think we're reaching that breaking point where we're like, I'm ready, like we've been talking about. And it changes the whole nature of how the chakras operate. It starts to switch on dormant DNA, and we are elemental beings. The nucleic acids of our DNA is elemental. The mitochondrial DNA connected to the mother is the fifth element, the quintessence, and it's purifying all these elementals, and all these different things happening in the alignments are proving and showing that this is a cosmic and earthly event that we can align with. And it's going to work its magic on us. Let's stop being distracted. Let's stop feeding this terrible relationship with deception, tyranny, betrayal, and cover-ups and lies. We wouldn't want to be married to that. So we are in a relationship with everything. We deserve better. Let's embrace true love.
Yeah. Go there again. Thank you. And William, you have so much to share too. And I understand the Galactics, it's to their advantage and the advantage of the whole universe for this ascension happening right now. And that's why they're participating so fully with us. And so can you explain more our relationship with the Galactics in terms of the ascension happening now, and whatever you feel called to share?
Thank you. Absolutely. Love the energy, love the transition between third dimensional reality to a fifth. And before I go into the intergalactic, I'd like to share with you an experience that I just had today, right here at the New Living Expo. So I was in my booth doing an Arcturian light code activation in our Nubian pyramid. And around, I could feel there was a lot of distortion going on. And I felt the energy coming from the back of the room, and I felt the heart of a person in particular that I do not know personally. Well, I felt the energy of that person coming, and that person who was pushing out lower frequency of third dimensional reality out of lack of love, feeling not visible, feeling not respected. Her heart was aching. And I am working with my intergalactic masters in our Nubian pyramid. I'm already oscillating between the third and the fifth dimension to bring those transmission. So at that point I had a choice. There was a conjunction that was going on. Is either I allow that transmission to come to me and anchor me back, or bring me back into density, into third dimension, and feel frustrated, feel like I'm being disrupted, feeling there's something going on. There was a lot of noise generated. Or I could invoke the fifth dimensional energy, and I asked the realm of light, I asked the spiritual hierarchy of the earth for higher assistance, to give love, healing, assistance, comfort to that person, and change the vibration so it can be coming back to more harmonic energies. And the response came to me at the speed of thought. Because remember, when you put out there, it's going to be at the speed of thought. And what happened is that I saw a beautiful corridor of light opening, led by Master Sananda. So I saw Master Sananda. You on the 3D level, you know him as Jesus. We know him as Sananda in the intergalactic realms. So Master Sananda is walking down the hallway, not in the 3D, but in the higher realm of light. So I see this beautiful pure white light corridor of light. And Master Sananda is walking, and there's thousands of beings behind him. And Master Sananda tell me telepathically and in my heart, your prayers are received. We're going to bring assistance now. And at that moment, what happened is that I made a choice to remain into a higher vibrational state. I kept my connections to the fifth dimensional reality while providing assistance to bring the highest and greatest good for my clients, for their healing, for this person whose heart was clearly aching because I was receiving like an antenna, and being able to resolve it while maintaining the higher dimension. Now, I could have easily said to the client, I'm sorry, I'm being disrupted. I come back, I get frustrated, and I give it into my emotion. No, I emerged with my intergalactic self. I said, okay, I choose the higher reality. I know there's other form of solution that can be created. And sure enough, it's been taken care of. So one thing that I've learned a lot from the masters, especially Sananda, is that ultimately, the realm of light is all there is. So the duality that we are experiencing, the fragmentation, the moving the third dimension to fifth dimension, it's just another bridge of reality that we're stepping into. We are truly returning to identify ourselves as divine essence of light, and there's only the one singularity, one dimension that we're truly in, and that's the one of Creator. And that's also something through the intergalactic realms, if I were to call it this way, your star brothers and sisters who have walked the path that you're in right now. Like the Arcturians, we have walked this path millions of years ago. We are very ancient interstellar group, so we understand and we monitor, we travel through the multiverse everywhere, and we see how this multiverse is constantly evolving and shifting. And to see the beauty, the grace of seeing planetary system or other civilizations like humanity such on the verge of a huge breakthrough. And all of this, what is the goal? Is we all returning to Creator. So yes, your choices are important. Yes, ask yourself different questions that ties up with everybody shared today and what we said. You have the right to make different choices. Ask yourself, when something is present to you, invoke the realm of light and ask, may higher truth be shown to me, reveal yourself. Help me understand. What is it that I'm experiencing? What is it that I am receiving? So you can continue to integrate the wisdom of what is these experiences are about and better understand the mechanism of your internal soul. And also how we can interconnect with each other. So we are really, the intergalactic groups are really rejoicing to see how much we are returning as a community of light. And yes, everything has to shift. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. There's a huge wave of awakening coming up. I already started in May, and you're right in that conjunction. Please take the wave, say yes, and every day ask, how can I be of service? Show me higher truth. Help me understand and integrate so you can continue to move forward in the anchorage of your light, to be very consistent in what you are co-creating. And remember, the power of one person can transcend thousands of lower frequencies. You have the power to transcend so much lower frequencies into higher octave of light. One person can inspire thousands. So always see yourself in the truth of who you are. Never underestimate the power that you carry and the influence you have within you. And even grocery shopping. I love grocery shopping, not for the food. It's to see to people how we can uplift the paradigm in that particular store. It is fascinating. I always welcome my galactic group, says, hey, look at this energy here. What can we do? I love that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vivian. And Kimberly, I'd love for you to comment at all, and I'd also love you to bring in the frequency of love, which is so important in this conversation, and the new earth.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody up here. Is it on, the microphone? Okay. Yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about something Laura was talking about also. I don't think it's coming in. Oh.
Yeah, use the other one.
Hi, is it working now? Okay. I want to talk a little bit about moving from 3 to 5. Sometimes I work a lot with that with people. People bounce back from 3 to 5. Do people ever feel that? Like sometimes. So I just wanted to get into that for a minute because I'm a medical medium. And I do a lot of mediumship readings on people and scanning them with their health and the chakras. And I go through the body with the chakras. And the main chakras that seem to be out a lot is the throat chakra, which is the thyroid, and the root chakra, and hormones. A lot of people have hormonal problems, thyroid cancer, a lot of problems with immune suppressed conditions, a lot of problems with speaking out with what you want in your life, a lot of issues with people right now living in a third dimensional world, wanting to have an awakening, wanting to know what their gifts are, wanting to get into that 5D vibration, frustrated, understanding that maybe you are with a soulmate but can't live with a soulmate because the soulmate is the person that you're learning how to work out a karmic lesson with. There's a lot of things that go on in this third dimensional world. Also understanding that the guides are speaking to you right now, not Kimberly. They're trying to make you understand that this energy of love, truth, is very important with the throat chakra. How we move into this fifth dimensional vibration is understanding that we have to be strong, and when somebody is not doing something on the up and up or upsetting you, that you have to speak out with your throat chakra. You can't let people get away with things anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah. But you don't have to do it in a aggressive way. It can be from the divine feminine. Because we're here right now to awaken in that beautiful energy, the goddess divine energy. We want that. So I work a lot with the Virgin Mary. She's here. She's here to help us right now. She's here to help us because that is the left side of the body, the divine feminine. A lot of clients I have a lot of problems with their heart, the left side of the thyroid, a lot of circulation issues on the whole left side of the body. Now, when you talk about the throat chakra, and I'm going to talk about it again, there's a lot of issues with the whole entire body that connects to the third eye, the crown chakra, throat, and the sacral chakra and root chakra. Now, how many people here know that the Christ consciousness has already arrived? It's already here. It's already ready for us. Yes. So when Laura said over again, when she kept saying, speaking the truth, I don't even know, maybe you didn't say that, but I kept hearing, speaking the truth, calling people out on, it keeps wanting to go to me, calling people out on their truth. How many people do that? How many people can say to somebody nice and sweetly, this is not all right with me. This is not working out for me. How many can do that? Here, raise your hand. But how many get choked up and it's hard to do? Yes. So when you do that, you're actually moving yourself forward. It's a good thing to do. It's clearing out your throat chakra. It's awakening your intuition, and it's moving you into a higher vibration. It's bringing in the love, the light, and the calmness for you. You have access. Everybody's born with angels. Everybody is born with ascending masters around you. Everybody's born with guides. I'm sure you all know that, right? So how do you get more acquainted with them every day? Right. Talk to them and listen to them, yes. But the interesting thing is, I see probably over 100 and something people per month. That's a lot of people. 80% of my clients that I scan and go over their bodies, every single one of them, I would say, have a thyroid problem. Every single one has GI tract issues. Most of them have hormone problems. And every single one of them has issues with relationships. Now, most of all of them want to be more connected to the Christ light. And most of all of them are dying, loving to be connected to the Virgin Mary, the Holy Mother Mary. And they are. And they want to do the affirmations and prayer. But they also have to understand it is changing your diet, of course, drinking good water, but bringing in the love and self-care. But also many clients will say, but I just want to change my partner, or I just want this person to do this, or I just need to do that. How many can say, I need to walk away, or I need to change that person? It's not going to work that way. That doesn't work. Can you take your partner into the fifth dimension with you? Can we take 3D people to the fifth dimension? Sometimes we can, absolutely. People can learn to raise their vibration. Some people can. That is true. Some people can. Because people need love and compassion and empathy. But they have to be willing to be open to do that. They have to be open and willing to do that. But like I said, when I first came in, the guide said, people are depopulating. It's their choice if they're ready to be open enough to receive ego or I-go. Right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you all. We've got about 20 minutes left. And, yeah, it goes fast. We could go on for days. You know, there's so much information, and there's so many levels, and there's so much coming through. And we will. We'll continue this on and on. A lot of this, these women are all teachers and guides. I'm doing online programs, so the information is all coming out now and is available. But I'd like to end with a tool that you can share with them that they can focus on for their own personal ascension. Like, what would you advise is, in your opinion, what is the most important thing? And there's so much. There's shadow work, there's activation of your DNA, there's working with your light body, meditation, receiving of the codes and the intuition, and just there's so much we can do now. And then I'd like you to end with how can they contact you and what do you have to offer? So about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes each.
Okay, so fasten your seatbelt because you're going to need it for all these fabulous people. My number one tool is connecting with your higher self for 100% accuracy. If you've not encountered this work, it's in the book. It's actually in all of my books because it's so important. But the one that's got the most detail is called Beyond the Flower of Life, chapters 4 and 5. And if you will do this practice for 6 weeks, you will have 100% accuracy. And I was in New York City the day before 9/11, and my guides told me to leave. I had no reason, had no knowing on why. So I assure you that this work isn't just for me, it's for all of us. You can reach me at my website, either maureenstgermain.com or my newly branded website, stgermainmysteryschool.com. We have a lot of tools. We have a lot of free things. We have a blog post every month that we always include something free. If you sign up for my list, you'll get a lot of free things from us. We also have a monthly training program that we meet once a month. I give you additional training as well as a lot of dripped materials so that you can learn in a gradual way. And we finally have an annual program called the Ascension Institute. And the Ascension Institute allows you to dive deep and work with some very focused, purposeful energy with the teachings that I share that will take you even higher. And I'm happy to announce that we are now taking applications for the fall. And we have a small window, so if you're interested, check it out. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. And Elizabeth, what can you offer us? Your advice and tools.
To put it in a nutshell. So I've been contemplating this a lot lately, and really I have come back to where I started, which is follow your heart. And it was by listening to my heart and hearing where it was being called, and it was being called to these sacred paths of power, although the world was telling me to stay in school and, get a college degree and get a job and go get married, and my heart was calling me somewhere that I'd never heard of before. But there's a wisdom heart. So there are, your heart feels a lot of things, but there's a wisdom heart that lives inside of you. And if you listen to what that says, it really follows your highest path. And so my greatest tool that I could, say in 1 minute is listen to your wisdom heart and do what it tells you to do. If you feel bad about something, sit with that for a while and ask, what is the remedy? What is the medicine? And your guides will inform you, and your wisdom heart will inform you. And by doing this with every single aspect of our life, every single aspect of ourself, because you have to do that with everything in you, in your soul house, then that puts us on this timeline of continual evolution, because you are an eternal soul. You're going to be doing this for a long time, and you're going to unify with the one, which is really where we all came from. So my latest free webinar series is called Your Heart Knows the Way, and it's okay, maybe you can turn the flash off though.
Can you please put the flash off?
Yeah.
Can you please put the flash off?
It's got a flash on it, yeah. That's right. So I have a free webinar series coming up called Your Heart Knows the Way, where I'll be deepening into listening to the wisdom heart and doing that medicine work. And it's, so ElizabethSeraphine.com is my website now. And so that's SERAPHINE.com/heart. So you can register there. And then I'll be having another alchemical priestess training, and I'm going to be doing a longer term certification, like a year-long certification. So for people that want to go deeper, I'm in those waters right now.
Great.
Yeah, thank
Wonderful. Yeah. What wisdom can you impart?
Well, there's all sorts of, really great tools. I mean, I think in every moment that we feel like grabbing something to maybe make the pain go away or some sort of vice, we can stop ourselves in those moments and say, well, why don't I grab something that's actually healthy and nourishing instead? Why don't I sit with, maybe the words that I'm speaking and maybe adjust my perception and just the way I'm communicating? I think it has a lot to do with self-accountability and humility, so we can self-correct in those moments and get better communication skills, because ultimately we're constantly creating our reality and the quality of our day, our health and well-being. And some people are confused, am I sick or is this ascension symptoms? Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think when we just accept I'm sick, or or we're allowing a doctor to hold a diagnosis over our heads and what the trajectory of that should look like. I feel, okay, there is a place for all that, and there's amazing doctors out there, don't get me wrong, but we should be getting closer to ourselves, not further away. The more we keep handing it over for somebody else to define, the less we're able to kind of prove those things wrong and say, well, the doctor said I wouldn't be able to walk again, and here I am walking. I was told that I only had 4 years left, I'm not talking about me, but if I did go to the doctor, they might tell me that. They could say you have 4 years left to live, and I'd be like, okay, well, it's in your hands, so I guess it's up to you to tell me this or that, and it's like we get further away from ourselves when adversity and illness and pain can bring us closer to ourselves. And that's when I think we flip it from something degenerative, something we might call disease, into ascension symptoms, because we're holding the pain, we're listening to it, we're asking it questions, we're tapping into is there depression? What is the soul calling to you? What is your soul longing that is making you feel that you just can't manifest what you want to manifest? What is anxiety trying to tell you? It's all got a message. So let's listen to those signals that our body is putting off, because it has incredible wisdom and breakthroughs, and all sorts of jewels of epiphanies and realizations that can like turn it around for us. So I think in every moment we just have that choice. We can run into these walls. We might sit in that stuck energy for a while, but just know that the most uncomfortable places are temporary. That's not the greater destiny. And we can utilize all these challenges and adversities and pain and any feeling of suffering, depression, anxiety, anger, and rage, and flip it over to the higher level of what these elemental forces are. Anger can be passion. Depression can be answering to our soul longing. Mental confusion and any kind of anxiety can move us into free thinking and sovereignty in the way that we process information and the way we communicate, breaking ancestral patterns, breaking the programs in every moment. We can collapse this stuff. So being mindful, finding partners that are willing to go that extra mile and have those conversations instead of like rolling their eyes like, oh God, do I really have to sit down and like work this out and process it? And friends that are willing to have your back, and like, you know, where there's transparency and, you know, there's healing and there's forgiveness if there was, you know, a rut or a challenge along the way, or some kind of misunderstanding, that we're not afraid to make amends. And if they choose not to answer to that, that's not on us anymore. We can let it go with love and compassion and move forward in our lives, so we don't keep staying stuck. So I think being mindful is key. Nutrition, like we were talking about, knowing your body, knowing what you need, and knowing there's an herb and supplement out there for you. And whatever you have put in your body, don't fear it. Don't let anybody tell you that this is your destiny and this is a doom or gloom thing if you make this particular choice. Empower yourself to know that there's not anything we cannot heal or cure or transmute. We just have to make sure we get our minds back, because if it was enough for them to blast us with weapons and any kind of assault, they wouldn't bother with the propaganda, the narratives, the mind control, the social engineering. So we got to get that piece first to transmute the rest, and not project that something is deadly or something is maybe, you know, overly beneficial or the answer. Let's find sort of the middle road, the neutral road, so that we can work with these things and find a better relationship with it, so that it doesn't harm us. It can help heal us and help correct whatever, because the spiritualized body will remove any foreign substances, and it will also be able to have a belief system that will merge into truth eventually, and change and recode and reset whatever projection coming from outside of us that causes us fear and like, what did I just do? We are way more powerful than that. Spirit has dominion over physical matter, not the other way around. So let's work with that part of ourselves that knows that, our higher self, our intuition that knows exactly what to do in the moments that we face these challenges, instead of answering to something outside of us that just wants to siphon and feed on it and make money from it and take advantage of it. There's so many well-intentioned people out there that are done serving that kind of agenda, and we can help each other transition out of that toxicity, out of those relationships, out of those careers, and work together to utilize these skills and talents and make sure that we turn these systems around, so that the real, true expression of things like Hippocratic Oath, or why you really signed up for it, is the real expression, instead of answering to a tyranny just because you want to make sure you get that paycheck. We don't have to submit or consent. And my, thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. My website's cosmicguide.org. I'll be updating it. I'm going to have one subscription instead of two. I have a weekly show. I do mini readings for subscribers. I'll be doing discounted sessions. I do Zoom events, so we can all just kind of pass the talking stick, share what we're going through, support one another, you know, even pull resources together. And create these visions together. Like, you know, I mean, connecting dots. Like, people have the visions of healing centers. I certainly do have a retreat center. I mean, these greater conversations are going to let our creative channels, like manifest what we want to see, instead of have it infected and contaminated by what we don't want to see, and we can help each other and hold hands together and do this together. So I'll be updating my website, and it'll get a little bit more easy to follow. You can follow me on some of my social media. Most of it was banned. I've recovered some of it because, geez, yeah, I don't know. It's just dangerous. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you. Just keep your eye on my website. And I got a lot of events coming up, a book coming out at the end of the year or beginning of next year. And I'll be updating as much as I possibly can.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, Vivian.
I know I don't breathe, really.
Now let us all take a deep breath to integrate. Words of wisdom, truly, it's a time for you, all of us, to really go back to living in your heart and waiting, also opening the sacred gateway of your heart, especially to your thymus chakra, which is your higher heart. And did you know that there's a sacred temple in your heart, and only your essence can access it. And the very sacred temple in your heart is a place where I would invite you to go back to replenish, feel your soul. Take the time to feel yourself. Feel your own energy, feel your breath, anchoring yourself in a higher light, slowing down. This is a good way to feel like you are detaching away, you are moving out of the 3D reality, that duality, that polarization, fragmentation, and just to return into the silence of this sacred template, this temple in your heart, and to hear your own being, your own soul, because through your soul your guide speaks sacred vibrational languages, the cosmic pulse of the sacred creation that you're part of, remembering the love, the ultimate creator substance love from which you were created eons ago, returning to that aspect and how you can practically apply this in your life. And we're coming back to the essential. This is part of the intergalactic groups are saying, is that our brothers and sisters from Earth, you're finally returning to the essential of living. Finally, we've been waiting for you. Yes. Many councils have been for a long, long time, whether it's the Andromedan, the Sirians, the Lions, even in the 12-dimension aspect, are still traveling in their soul essence to work with us. The Council of Sirius, the Arcturians that I represent. I'm also an Arcturian High Priestess, a part of a Council of Sacred 12 in our realm of unification, we call Arcturus. Unification, this is exactly what you're returning to. So, your sacred heart, this is the secret key of everything. Remember the love that you are within you. It's in every cell of your being. So for many, many, many years, I've been sent on a mission that I am helping people heal and reconcile themselves, what we call deep core soul healing. So I have been very, very busy every day for many, many years now to help with people worldwide. I work with people from all time zones, all cultural background, everywhere. And this is what I do 90% of my time. I'm very dedicated. I too do over 100 of sessions per month. I don't know how many thousands I've done so far. And we have built also a community, a Patreon community, that we provide monthly events, monthly meditation. We also have our Arcturian holographic group healing that allows many people from all over the world to join a powerful 2 hours of pure activations, working with cosmic intelligence and beyond. And we have 2 members of our community in the audience today. I'm so honored to see both of you, Teresa and Deborah. Thank you so much for being here. We have a lot coming up. I also have a book coming up on soul connections based on 3 real cases that people have come. We'll interview them about reincarnations, twin flames, and also how your soul are still interacting with each other and beyond. We have this amazing book. It's been coming for the last 2 years or so. It's coming up hopefully this fall or otherwise 2023. I have been begging my group and my council, I want to bring my training program. They said, not yet, because you're here for the future timeline. So I am very much here for the future timeline. This is why I do so much healing work in the meantime. We create what's called the Arcturian Energy Matrix Healing. It is one of its kind. We work with the timeline, your body template upgrades. We work with your soul matrix, your soul fractals. We can work with the reconciliation in many aspects of you. Beyond healing your body, beyond physical issue, there's a very unique story about you, and we're here to help you decode what it is and what it means to your soul mission, your life mission here on earth, what you've come to do. So we help you at a much, much deeper level, of course, with our intergalactic group, our councils, and the magnificence of the beings of different octaves of sphere of light that we work with. So my website is infinitehealingfromthestars.com. Everything is there. Our podcasts, we have the Patreon community, we have all our services, free meditation. My husband also work that he does with the Tensor technology, really unique piece of ascension pendant that helps everyone. Check us out, because we are growing alongside with you. It is together that we are far more powerful than we can ever be apart. Much love to all of you.
Thank you, Vivian, for all your work. Beautiful. And Kimberly.
Hi. So yeah, I think that it's really important right now to have tools to survive right now. And some of the tools I talk about in a new book that just came out. It's called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. It's also on audio. Get on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And in my chapter 5 and 6, I talk about working with your chakras, doing exercises every day. I don't think that you have to do an hour-long meditation. I think 5 minutes a day, at least, dedicating a good meditation, 5 minutes a day. If you could do 5 minutes a day of breath work, which is not very long, 5 to 10 minutes a day, just taking that time of breathing in and out and focusing on your chakras is boosting your immune system and connecting to the omnipresent. You're going to get a lot in your life in return. And exercising, eating right, taking vitamins, but that 5 minutes a day of meditating is really, really important. How many do that in here? How many do 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day? So there's people that need to do that. Also, service. How many are doing some kind of service work, helping their brothers and sisters out? How many laugh, smile? Yeah. There's a lot of junk on television. A lot of stuff going on out there. So people maybe don't look, you get up in the morning, maybe you grab your phone right away, start looking at your emails and all that stuff. So before you're doing all that, maybe take a few seconds and just, maybe that's the time you meditate. So in my book, I have a lot of affirmations that I channeled and prayer. And you see you can't see my eyes blinking right now, but they're going da-da-da-da-da. They're saying before you get into all the third dimension stuff, they're not mine, maybe your own. Say something like, I am love, I am light, I am joy, I am the light. Something where you come up with something before you get in to your routine. And just take those moments. Have a gratitude list. Something where before you jump in, you just take those calming moments in the morning. It's you and the intimacy with the omnipresent. The guides want you to get more into this fifth dimension energy. So every day you start easing yourself into this world that is going to happen anyway. And I know I keep talking about that, but it is happening. The other thing is that I have an angel club on my website. And my website's called the Healing Trilogy. I did not come up with this, my guides did. They wrote on a piece of paper after I had my near-death experience, about a year after I got out of my wheelchair. And I wrote down on a piece of paper, thehealingtrilogy.com. And that's my website. And I have a video on demand store called the Angel Club. And in the Angel Club, I have a lot of videos of classes that I have done. And if you want to join my Angel Club, I do events all the time with speakers and other gifted healers. And I also have a mentorship program where I help people open up their own gifts and help people write books and lose weight and all kinds of fun things. And I also do mediumship readings and medical scans, and I have a nonprofit organization where I actually have an office in Los Angeles 2 days a week where people can come in my clinic. And I also do Skypes and Zooms online. And I do mediumship readings and healings, and I also do readings for people that have crossed over. So I also work with animals and children. And you can find me at thehealingtrilogy.com, and I love all of you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Kimberly. And I have a gift for you too. On your chair is a card about the Ascension tips. If you don't have it, I'll have more here. And these are 45 tips. It's a brochure that explains the Ascension process, things that happen in your life, from the awakening to the transmutation to the embodiment. So this is like a really simple way to understand what's going on and all the progression of it, and a simple way to explain to others when you're talking about Ascension. They're going, what is that? This explains that. And if you sign up for that, I'm going to have a lot of these incredible women on some online programs of Ascension, so we can even go deeper into this, and especially as things evolve going forward. So you'll be on my e-list, and I'll share with you about the Ascension. And so I just want to pause right now and close Sacred Space, and close it with gratitude. So much gratitude for all this incredible wisdom, for this heart, for this love. And realize, even though these incredible teachers are sitting up here, you are the teacher. You are the way shower. You're sitting here, and you know that you're on the front lines. And right now, it's all hands on deck for your own manifestation of your ascension, and for being there for our families, our soul tribe, that are wondering what's going on, and sharing with them, being way showers. And so with so much gratitude, I close Sacred Space, and with so much love, and we look forward to so much more. Aho.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
For all that you do.
Thank you. Are you my publishing? Who? My publishing? Are you with my publishing? What did you say, Mark?
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yes. Yeah, I'm very proud to do this in a much bigger way.
I was